So a lot of Darman's actors are protesting against him, but there is some actors that are not protesting against him. There's one actor that got a knife pointed at them on set, but then retracted it last minute probably because of scripted reasons by Darman. And then there's a couple actors still standing by Darman, either by choice or that they are getting, or that they feel like they're being better, or there is some actors out there that don't really like Darman's working environments anymore because he's not paying enough money for them to stay in his studio anymore. So they have quitted working for Darman Studios. Well, more than trying to protest on him, which is actually a couple of actors from Darman Studios are actually protesting against him. So I would recommend you go show Darman some love and stuff over on his page, and try to get them to pay more money on their acting sets. Because I really believe that he's just doing this out of other stuff, but then not replacing the Ghost Bathroom Lock, that's a whole different situation by Darman Studios. So really, he needs to fix that. And everything else on Darman Studios page, they should. And then a lot of actors still working with Darman, either out of choice or by will, whatever. They're still working with Darman Studios, which I would get out of there as soon as I found out that he was not doing a really good job. But then there is a couple actors that have said that they're doing with Darman because of the scripted responses by Darman, by some other people. I can actually show you guys the video of what the people are saying here.
And then after it starts to slow down, that's probably because you haven't been using Clean My Mac X, which will help clean, speed up, optimize, and protect your computer.
Here it is right here. So this is the video right here. You guys can see it.
Did it by showing a bunch of younger actors having fun while on set for Darman.
Also, another actor, Shantae Massard, she came to the defense of Darman. She's not having all of this protest and rallying against. Actor there that he just showed was Melvin Ward, and he's still acting with Darman, but he actually does say that actors should
fired previously for speaking out and asking questions.
But there are still quite a bit of actors that are standing side by side with Darman, even though pretty much all of the other actors are protesting against him.
Darman just posted this video basically addressing the drama and showing all the actors that still stand with him despite the drama. This actor claims that Darman treated him very nicely the whole time that he worked with him.
So that actor there that he just showed was Melvin Ward, and he's still acting with Darman, but he actually does say that actors should definitely get paid more.
Do I feel there should be like an increase in pay? Yes, 100%. 100%.
Also, I did check out some of the comments online, and many people think that, well, Melvin is just kind of holding back, not really saying what he really feels about Darman and the whole situation, because he just doesn't want to get fired.
This actor claims that her and her daughter were always treated nice by Darman on set. He also shared this on his story and this. He then ended it by showing a bunch of younger actors having fun while on set for Darman.
Also, another actor, Shantae Massard, she came to the defense of Darman. She's not having all of this protest and rallying against Darman.
There are some of us who are hurt and sad and angry, and I was glad that they were finally being seen and heard, and I was in support of us all getting what it is that we deserve. But now it's gotten ugly, and it seems to me to have become about revenge. And that's distracting us all from the main thing, which is changing lives.
For a lot of actors have been protesting against Darman for unfair wages and just shady business practices.
A lot of people have been fired previously for speaking out and asking questions.
But there are still quite a bit of actors that are standing side by side with Darman, even though pretty much all of the other actors are protesting against him.
Darman just posted this video basically addressing the drama and showing all the actors that still stand with him despite the drama. This actor claims that Darman treated him very nicely the whole time that he worked with him.
So that actor there that he just showed was Melvin Ward, and he's still acting with Darman, but he actually does say that actors should definitely get paid more.
Do I feel there should be like an increase in pay? Yes, 100%. 100%.
Also, I did check out some of the comments online, and many people think that, well, Melvin is just kind of holding back, not really saying what he really feels about Darman and the whole situation, because he just doesn't want to get fired.
This actor claims that her and her daughter were always treated nice by Darman on set. He also shared this on his story and this. He then ended it by showing a bunch of younger actors having fun while on set for Darman.
Also, another actor, Shantae Massard, she came to the defense of Darman. She's not having all of this protest and rallying against Darman.
There are some of us who are hurt and sad and angry, and I was glad that they were finally being seen and heard, and I was in support of us all getting what it is that we deserve. But now it's gotten ugly, and it seems to me to have become about revenge. And that's distracting us all from the main thing, which is changing lives.
For a lot of viewers and people commenting, they're saying that that sounded pretty scripted. Speaking of scripted replies, Catherine Norland, she's probably the most popular actor who has defended Darman. She's also been accused of the same thing, being scripted and just speaking good things because she's scared to get fired.
Unfortunately, it's popular in this day and age to want to cancel someone if you're upset. We see someone who's successful and we think, oh, they must be stepping on people to get there. And it's hard for business owners. They're taking on all the risk. They're taking on all the responsibility, and it all falls on them. And some employees feel like they're not getting what they deserve. They could try to turn everything upside down for you, and I believe he's doing the best he can.
But another actor, Nick Sarando, who is an actor that's protesting against Darman, says that Catherine Norland is actually a highly favored actor by Darman Studios, so no wonder she's defending him.
Catherine goes there, she's number one, and she's highly favored, by the way. 145 videos compared to the next person, Shantae 92. There's a big gap there, right? So she's already a favorited person.
Who knows exactly when this whole situation is going to be resolved? I really think that one of the reasons why this escalated to the point where actors are actually protesting against Darman was for the fact that Darman isn't a starving studio. If Darman was still working on becoming profitable and just struggling and just trying to get by and growing, then I think the actors would understand more. But Darman is a multi-millionaire. And still many other actors can't afford rent. And without a guaranteed schedule, it's really hard for them to plan their lives and other work projects around Darman bookings. But then on the other side, there are people that are saying, well, actors, that just comes with the territory. If you don't like the contract and the working agreement, then go act somewhere else. Which side of the argument do you find yourself on? Sound off down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. And don't forget to follow me here on FTD News for more videos like this. Boom.
So guys, what you guys think of that? There is some other actors doing the same exact thing to Darman Studios. I'll show you guys those in a second as well, as after this video loads.
I've been an actor for 5 years, and this was by far the worst experience I've had on any set, and it was a Darman set.
He's attempting to gaslight us and the audience into thinking that, well, the concerns that these actors are having are crazy, and they're crazy for having them.
This past month, much of the internet was stunned to learn about the protest Darman movement. I'm sure you all know by now that this movement has gained a lot of attention, especially over on TikTok, and it consisted of actors who worked for Darman Studios protesting over low pay, questionable workplace rules, unfair work treatment, and Darman's alleged refusal to sit down for a meeting with the actors about all of this. These actors were some of the original creatives to appear in Darman's YouTube videos, where ironically enough, enough, his videos contain themes of doing good by others and putting out what you want to get back in the world. If you haven't seen my 2 previous videos on this whole Jarman situation, as well as his response, I'll leave those linked down below, but there's more to the story. Some of these actors have recently spoken out to expose some more details about Jarman Studios, as well as Jarman's character himself. And some of these actors are claiming they had a toxic relationship with their own boss, and even went as far as to express how they felt gaslighted and manipulated by Jarman. One of these actors, who made a frequent appearance in Jarman's videos, goes by Nathan Ng. The other day, Nathan Ng posted a TikTok, and it's gotten people even more upset with Jarman.
Before I tell y'all why I stopped working with Darman and Darman stopped working with me, I want to talk about why I kept working with him. And the short answer is, it's because it was a toxic relationship. Now, if y'all have ever been in a toxic relationship, you'll understand that it's way harder to leave than you would think, even though in your head you know it's bad for you. Let me get down to the specifics. There are 3 main reasons that this was the case. 1, the highs are really high and the lows are really low, but the lows were far more frequent than the highs. And I'll talk a little bit more about this later because this one's actually a pretty big one. 2, you were kind of suffering in silence because if you ever talked about this to other people, the fear is that you could be replaced. And that's what happened to me. And you could lose a job. And 3, this one has been more apparent than ever with all the recent allegations. There are so many actors out there that are sharing their experiences, but instead of addressing our concerns, he's telling us that we're wrong for having them. This is a classic method of manipulation called gaslighting. He's attempting to gaslight us and the audience into thinking that, well, the concerns that these actors are having are crazy, and they're crazy for having them. AKA victim shaming. One of the biggest lows for me was the fact that there's a constant fear of being replaced. If you didn't do things his way, if you wanted something else, if you wanted to be treated any better, there's always an actor out there that could do your job. And this is kind of normal in the industry, right? But Darman sets this expectation that once you're a series regular, you'll be invited back and back and back again in order to do more films for him. But as soon as you don't work with his schedule, as soon as something in your life comes up, or as soon as you just have any concerns, you're gone.
Another former actor who also made a prominent appearance on Darman's videos, who goes by Mare, responded to a TikTok where someone was asking her about only working 2 hours for Darman Studios, and basically asking why they thought it seemed like she was complaining, which a lot of people disagreed. The person commented, "Okay, listen, you work, 2 hours a day, every other day? What is stopping you guys from getting a separate job? It's not hard." And Maya responded to this TikTok very respectfully, and many people applauded Mare for this fair answer she gave to this TikTok user. In this TikTok, she started emphasizing on how there was way more work being put in just to work for those 2 hours that they had to be on set for, preparation for the shoot and all of that. And she expressed how she didn't think this was fair at all, especially working for a big company like Jarman Studios.
I don't know how many times I have to answer this question. So we all do have other jobs and other ways of making income. So we have to. And I don't even want to get into like that whole 2 hour thing or what. Look, when you're on a shoot, your whole day is dedicated to that. So you shouldn't have to get paid just for the amount of time that you are on set, because there's rehearsals, there's preparation, there's travel, there's hair, there's makeup, all of these things that go into getting ready for a shoot that you're going to be a part of that's going to make a company a lot of money. I don't think that that's fair. So anyways, basically what we were saying is that when, because we're not just coming in for like little background roles, like we are major faces of, or were major.
This video also touched on what he iterated was a nightmare of a scene to have went through in the Jarman Studios.
I actually got to take a step back and see how toxic the relationship really was, and it was a blessing in disguise. So, what happened? What was the reason that it all came down to this? In order for me to explain that, I need to talk about what happened on that set that day. This was the set of Controlling Girlfriend Gets Dumped. We had a scene that literally took all day to film, and this scene was an absolute nightmare because we were supposed to film another scene after that. So what caused this? There are three main reasons that made this very difficult to get through. The first one was the director. I love this guy, and I just want to say that his style just didn't really fit Darman Studios. He's very meticulous and very detailed.
So that is definitely true. Darman Studios is definitely kind of mean to its actors. That needs to get fixed. Darman, by the way.
Oriented with all the shots that he took, which didn't fit Darman because he was pumping out content super quickly, and we had to get through it real quick. Every time
way to get through it really quickly.
Messed up the take, we would take it back from the beginning, which is not very normal in film. You just kind of go back from where you messed up and just kept going. And you got to understand that this scene took about 7 to 10 minutes to get through. So if we made a mistake within that 7 to 10 minute time frame, we would have to start from the beginning. Number 2. Darman Studios is located right next to a freaking airport. So every 2 to 3 minutes, the planes would fly over and ruin the take, and we have to take it back from the beginning. Number 3, accidents. Sometimes when actors forgot their lines or messed up, it happens, we have to take it back from the beginning. But the biggest accident that happened on the set was the waiter, and no hate towards this guy. There's a scene where he delivers green juice and he accidentally spills it on me. We have to wait for my clothes to dry, we come back 1 to 2 hours later, and he spills it again. And all of this delayed production. So I found out why they stopped working with me. A very trustworthy source at Darman Studios told me that they pinned all these delays on me just to save their own asses. Everything that could go wrong on this set did. And to Darman's credit, none of this was directly his fault. But how he handled the situation afterwards was. And pinning everything on me, ghosting me, and then replacing me is not the answer. This mixed with the bad pay and toxic relationship is why we stopped working together.
Since breaking apart from Darman Studios over this last month, these actors have now announced the launch of their own show, which honestly, great for them.
Guess what? We heard you.
Anyways, y'all, this has been the recent update with this whole Darman situation, as well as former employees speaking out some more on their experience working for Darman Studios. I definitely want to know what you guys think. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next.
Go beyond the classroom and gain work-ready skills for your new future in cybersecurity.
Okay, so Darman just responded to the whole situation. Basically, if you don't know what's going on, Darman is this multi-millionaire business guy, and he hires a bunch of actors for his videos. Now, the actors in his videos are now protesting outside a studio because they believe they're not being paid well. One of his most popular actors even said he can't afford rent, which is definitely alarming. Now, another issue is that apparently Darman refuses to have a dialogue with them, so whenever they try to, negotiate a rate, he'll basically just ghost them or send a representative, and they want to talk to Darman. You can watch my previous video if you want all the details, but Darman responded in several Instagram posts and several Instagram stories, so let's check it out. In response to the recent actor protest, hey Darman fam, we want to address the recent protest by some of our actors. First off, we'd like to thank the many actors and fans who've reached out to show their support, gratitude, and solidarity to us. We truly appreciate you. For background, we did arrange an in-person hour-long meeting with actor representatives and 2 of our most senior leaders, including our head of production, in hopes of understanding concerns prior to any protest. During that meeting, the actor representatives refused to communicate any concerns and instead walked out. More info in our stories. Okay, so this is referring to the situation where they were supposed to meet Darman, but then he sent in a representative. And then the employees, the actors, were basically like, I'm not talking to you, I want to talk to Darman. Now, I don't know why they won't communicate with somebody else. Maybe they could still get their salary changed through somebody else, but we won't know the reason until they specifically tell us. Okay, now we actually have the numbers they're being paid. So, in regards to actor compensation, we believe we pay our actors competitively compared to our peers. Our rates for actors vary. Extras receive $18 per hour, and speaking role actors receive $33 to $44 per hour. We are proud to have given thousands of actors job opportunities, and last year alone paid millions of dollars in actor compensation. Okay, so this is the part where it gets a little bit tricky. $18 an hour or $33 to $44 an hour sounds like a good rate, but I don't know how the rate actually is in like in the acting industry.
So
and
sorry about
the
this.
rate as it
This is
should
what
be
it should
from
be.
initially working with Darman when he had no following, a less amount of notoriety and fame, and then working with him now to like a high class production. So we got to take into consideration, has the rate actually moved up through the years? Or are they being paid the same that they were being paid 5 years ago, for example? Actors by nature work for many different production companies. We offer project-based opportunities that vary from a few hours long to a few days. We do not...
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ethers channel, and today we're going to be talking about Darman responding to the recent cancellation, and I'll be going through the start of it, what's canceling him, and his response, dude. Grab your water bottle, grab your energy drink, dude, and let's just get right into this shit.
Got me in this party all up in a zone. Hottest Betty's trying to take away my...
So if y'all don't know who Darman is, he is a 24 million subscriber YouTube channel. That makes, in my opinion, really shit content, dude. So he'll basically make like videos where it has a very big premise and he gets kid actors and normal actors.
Oh, I can't breathe. You actually thought that I had $10,000 and I would give it to you?
Yeah, because that's what you said you were going to do. I just had to pull snakes for that money.
Bro, that was for YouTube. Get out of here.
This is really messed up. I thought you were cool.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
I hate to say this, but people aren't always the way they seem. You should be careful who you trust, Daniel.
Stuck in here all day. Well, check this out. This kid was getting evicted, so Darman paid his family's rent for a whole year. That's really sweet.
Not a single actor that works at Darman Studios can afford rent.
Hey guys, guess what? Darman is now in big trouble because a couple of days ago we were given the news that his actors and actresses are now outside his studio protesting to him for a various number of reasons. How ironic, huh? What happens in the dark will always come to the light, as Darman stated. Now he has become his own villains in his life lesson stories. But anyways, I'm just here to give my own personal opinion about this situation. But it's going to be less so of a commentary video and more so of a video analysis about this problem. I am going to split this video into 3 segments, each segment breaking down of each reason that they give about protesting to Darman. And I will also put one counter argument of how Darman responds to these said protests. I will also be putting 2 clips as examples in every segment, and I will give my thoughts on them. But anyways, let's just not waste any more time and let's jump into the video analysis, shall we? Now let's start off by addressing the big elephant in the room. Darman not paying his actors well enough. Now this has been said by a lot of actors and actresses through various social media platforms such as Instagram and TikTok. But the one that is leading all of this, the one that practically started this whole reason, was an OG Darman actor by the name of Colin A. Borden, who has made a 4-part series that addresses this whole Darman drama. Now, I will be playing the first 2 parts as the 2 clips of evidence about him addressing this whole money problem. So here's what he has to say.
What the heck is going on? Hey, Colin A. Borden here. I don't normally like to do serious things anywhere, but especially here on social media because I think it's a rather frivolous sort of thing. And as an actor, a writer, director, I just think of myself as an entertainer, and I like to do entertaining things, even if that's me pretending to think that I'm going to die because I ate unwashed peppers. But now I am going to talk about something a little serious because, if you've been following my page or other people's pages from the show that I'm on, you probably know that some stuff is going down. So I want to give a little bit of an explanation about it. Essentially, as an actor at Darman Studios, I am just a contract player. I have no employment there. I am just sort of called every now and then, as are all the other actors. And it just is not sustainable. And there are a lot of issues at hand here, but one of the main issues is that not a single actor that works at Darman Studios can afford rent.
Yup, that's right. The Darman actors are paid so poorly that they couldn't even afford rent. Despite Darman ranking in millions and millions of views from his shitty life lessons and making billions of dollars off of those said lessons, you think he paid his actors for more than 2 cents? But no, he couldn't even do something like that. He wants to keep all that precious moolah to himself.
This is a show that has millions of views across multiple social media platforms. Videos are shot, edited, posted, repackaged as new videos, reposted in other places over and over and over and over and over again, racking in millions of views, ad revenue, all this sort of stuff.
Okay, so to put this into perspective, Darman filmed his videos in California, LA, and the average rent in California, LA is about $28,000, with an average home price of about $816,000. And, remember the Darman video that I covered a while back with the girl hates her Asian culture? Yeah, that got 19 million views. And with the way of how YouTube works with their money making, they get about $3 to $5 from every 1K views that you get on your videos. So essentially 19 million views will make around $57,000 minimum. And even if you want to factor in production costs and set designs, etc., let's just say that takes about half of that money. But even if so, Darman could have easily paid an actor's rent about 5 or 6 times from just the money he makes alone from that video. But no, he couldn't even do something like that.
The studio has continued to expand for some time. My entire tenure there, when I first started, we shot everything, as I've told you guys on lives and things like that. We shot everything in an apartment building downtown, in an apartment, not even the building. Occasionally we would go to the garage of that building, but it was really just all in one apartment. And now there are 3 sound stages in Burbank, but things haven't really gotten better for us. And again, I don't want to go into specifics because it's kind of a big thing and it's really just between us. But I think that people should be aware of why we are protesting, why we are out there right now. We've been talking to a lot of actors. It's the same, everybody feels the same across the board. The trouble is, there's a culture at the studio of if you talk, you're out.
Yep, that's right. You heard it, folks. If any of the actors or actresses talk negatively about Darman or his studio in any way, shape, or form, they get the boot, which is honestly very stupid to me. I mean, when you receive negativity from people working at your own studio, you normally take those criticisms and try to fix them. But no, apparently in Darman's way of dealing with negativity, he tells the people to get out of his studio.
So we decided to come together as a group and talk collectively with our boss, Darman. We sent a letter to him, a hard copy and an email. The email was CC'd to the head of production as well, so that we made sure that Dar got it, but it was addressed to Dar. It was delivered to Dar. That letter was forwarded to the HR department, which we are not employees of Darman Studios, we are contract players. So exactly what we have to do with HR, we're not entirely sure, but it was forwarded over there. We were contacted, said we could have a meeting to discuss our issues.
Okay, so this is something that's going to be an essential part in the 3rd segment of this video, so just keep this in mind for now, okay? Okay, so ever since the Darman drama broke out, a lot of the actors and actresses have been sharing their personal experience about working with Darman at Darman Studios and how Darman basically treats them like crap. So I will be sharing 3 clips from the perspective of 3 different actors. Yes, I will make an exception to the 2-clip rule because 2 of these are very short. And to show them just how badly Darman treats them. So the first one is from this actress called Jaslyn Nicolette. So here's what she has to say.
Jaslyn Nicolette here. If you're watching this video, you might know my work from Darman Studios. There are protests going on at Darman, and I wanted to speak on my experience with Darman. When I first started Darman, it was such a positive experience. I met so many great people, including the crew, the directors, and other actors. I call some of those people my close friends now. But there was an incident that occurred while I was doing a TikTok video with Darman himself. And this is a very scary thing to talk about, and it's a very emotional one for me, so I'm going to try to get through it without crying.
You can tell this is a genuine reaction for two reasons. A, she kept saying words like and also mumbling over her words, so you can tell that this is not some planned script. And B, she looks like she is on the brink of tears, so yeah, that's pretty rough.
But this is what happened, and I think people should know. I was doing a TikTok video with Dar, and it was around Halloween time, so he was supposed to be chasing me with a weapon. And there was a security guard on set, and Dar was asking, what weapon should I use? I was assuming that it was going to be a not real weapon, a prop weapon. We have prop guns, we have prop knives, we have prop weapons on set. There should never be real weapons on set. But he turns to the security guard. The security guard gives him a real knife and points the knife at me.
Oh wow, look at this, 7-year-old Darman fams, if you're watching this video. Your knight in shining armor, your lord and savior, your greatest hero, Darman, has now taken a real knife from a security guard, implying that he is going to be using that weapon to be chasing around one of his own actresses for a goddamn TikTok video. Wow, he does seem to be a real life changer, huh?
And I immediately was shocked and paralyzed, didn't know what to do. I felt so unsafe that there was a knife being pointed at me to do a TikTok video. And this is Dar himself. I said I was unsafe. I had to reiterate that I felt unsafe doing this, him pointing a knife at me to do this little skit for TikTok. And finally, the director of the shoot said, we don't have to use a real knife. We can use this spatula.
Or you could have just not do the TikTok at all and maybe stay away from Darman forever. I mean, the fact that Darman even had the idea to use a real knife to chase her around with is insane.
I then proceeded to run out of the studio crying. I had a complete meltdown. And then I got a call from the head of production. And I said basically everything that happened. I felt really unsafe. He said that he apologized he did apologize to me and said that the action that he will take was to make sure there's assistant directors on those types of productions. And that I actually asked to talk to Dar because Dar was the one holding the knife. And he said that wasn't possible.
Yeah, I'm with him on this one. I wouldn't want to talk to Dar at all after an experience like that one.
But that he could get assistant directors on those productions. So then I proceeded to turn down work for about 3 months because I was so afraid to step into the studio. But then I eventually went because, again, the head of the production told me that there was going to be assistant directors on TikTok videos. I then went back. There was no assistant directors on TikTok video productions. There was only one director and a few actors, and that was just really unacceptable. Something like that happening, and they told me that there was going to be change, and the change wasn't regulated and it wasn't enforced, and it really changed how I view Darman.
Yeah, and the fact that she never mentioned anything about Darman apologizing to her from an incident like that really says something about him.
And for that, I stand with the actors. I stand still protesting Darman. And thank you for watching this video. It was really hard to get through. I'm sorry if I seemed emotional because it is a very emotional thing. Set is my safe place and always has been. It's the one place that I feel like I can be myself, and that was taken away from me. So I stand with the actors. I protest Darman.
And it looks like she just cut the video right before the tears came. I'm very sorry to hear about that, Jaslyn. Now, the second clip we'll be looking at is from an actress by the name of Avery White, who also shares her experience on Darman Studios. And it's not about her being treated like crap, but rather her seeing other people being treated like crap at Darman Studios. Here's what she has to say.
That it is getting pushed back.
Okay, I know this story.
For a different day. And they fired the crew in the middle of a shoot. And that was unprofessional because we would have ended on a Friday, even if we were gonna fire them. Like, I don't know, and it was very, like, they weren't communicating why they were canceling the shoot to us actors either. Which I feel like we have some right to know what's going on.
Wait, they don't tell you what's going on at their company?
No.
Wait.
No.
Yeah, the crew got fired with no rhyme or reason, which probably also explains why Darman's videos are always so inconsistent and messy and stuff like that.
But yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about the crew, is that like that really was my kind of realization that not that just realization, but that was kind of like my best straw there, because I was like, you're blatantly disrespecting the crew by firing them in the middle of a shoot.
Yeah, firing your crew in the middle of a shoot, not a good thing, which really just confuses me as to why this decision was made. Okay, so the final clip I'll be showing you for this segment is from one of the younger actors of Darman. His name is Dylan J. Harris. So let's hear his side of the story.
What happened was all of Darman's actors felt incredibly disrespected and taken advantage of and wanted to have a conversation about it. Literally, that's it. They just want a conversation. The reason it's gotten to this point is because we couldn't get past asking for a conversation. I say we. I am not leading this. I don't want to take credit for this. I'm just showing my support. Colin and Chaz really spearheaded this, put their nets on the line. There's some of the longest OG tenured actors there.
Okay, so it doesn't really talk much because he's just like, a supporter for the protesters against Darman. But all he's saying is like, how the crew members are being treated like shit and how all we want is just one conversation from Darman, but we couldn't even get something like that. And now all that is going to lead into the third segment. Okay, this is the segment where all the Darman actors and actresses protesting outside of Darman's studio come into play. This is where they all come together as one and they just hold up signs, yelling and screaming outside his studio, saying that they just want to have a conversation with him. So I'll be showing two clips. One of them is going to be Colin A. Broden's third part of this 4-part story, and the other one is going to be a 26-second short about them, outside the studio just rambling. So let's begin with the third part of Colin A. Broden's story.
Meeting was pushed several times, changed on us. When we finally got to the meeting, we had reiterated that we wanted it to be with Dar. Dar was not there. And we said, well, we are not going to have the meeting until Dar is here. You guys can be here, the head of production, the head of HR. That's great. We'd love for you to be there too, so everybody's on the same page. But our meeting is with our boss, the person who signs our contracts, Darman.
Yeah, so all his actors and actresses just want to have a conversation with him to talk about the money problems and maybe even his treatments towards his actors and actresses and just the crew in general. But of course, in order to avoid having this conversation, it has to be pushed back multiple times so that Darman can avoid this whole problem.
Thank you very much. Please get back to us with a time for the next meeting by next Tuesday. Just a time for the meeting, not necessarily the next meeting, but by Tuesday. We said this in person. We reiterated it a few minutes later via an email. We checked back in following a couple days, reiterating again, we would like to speak specifically with Dar. This is what the meeting is about. This is our boss. This is who we want to talk to. End of the week comes and goes. We learned Saturday there will not be a meeting. Meanwhile, a lot of other stuff has happened at the studio. Some not great stuff. Whether it's connected or not, we don't know because no one's talking to us. So that's why we're here right now, because all we wanted to do was sit down and have a conversation with our boss. That didn't happen. We were told explicitly that there will not be any meetings and that any issues that we had can be written down and forwarded to HR. And that's just not acceptable.
Yeah, it sure is, Colin. And like this all just really shows how Darman really just wants to sweep all of this under the rug and how he just doesn't want to come in contact with these problems because he wants to entertain his child audience and make people think, oh, he's the number one best man. He's the best guy since Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. When all in reality, you have stuff like this rising from the surface. Okay, now with that clip played, let's see how Darman's actors and actresses are behaving outside his studio right now.
Hey Colin, what are you protesting?
I just wanted to have a conversation with my boss. I'm protesting the man never talks to anyone, he silently fires people, and he doesn't pay anyone what they're worth.
Because everything that is done in the dark needs to be brought to the light.
Ooh, yeah, look at that, Darman. Getting a taste of your own medicine. Now you know how all the villains in your life lessons feel.
Because we can't be taken advantage like this.
Because the man won't even talk to us, and he blatantly ignored us. And then he flew to Aspen when he was supposed to be in a meeting with us.
We just want to be heard.
Just talk to us.
Okay, so all I'm hearing from this is basically that Darman is too much of a wuss puss to even have a meeting with them. So yeah, this guy is not as big Dick McGee as he appears to be. So with all of this shit being thrown at Darman Studios, Darman decided to make a response to all of his actors and actresses protesting against him with some Instagram posts. So let's see what his version of this problem is. So for Darman's response, he posted a couple of texts on Instagram, of which I'm obviously going to read and give my opinion on. And he also put a video of one of the actresses defending him, of which we're obviously also going to look at. So let's start with the post. Okay, so here's what he has to say. Hey Darman fam, we want to address the recent protests by some of our actors. First off, we'd like to thank the many actors and fans who have reached out to show their support, gratitude, and solidarity to us. We truly appreciate you. For background, we did arrange an in-person hour-long meeting with actor representatives and two of our most senior leaders, including our head of production, in hopes of understanding concerns prior to any protest. During that meeting, and the actor representatives refused to communicate any concerns and instead walked out. Okay, so basically, the Darman doesn't necessarily have to be at the meeting itself. Even though, I do recommend him to be there because all of his protesters specifically want him to be at that meeting. And also, they say that they did arrange the meeting, but according to Colin's story, the meeting was pushed back several times. So, you fell on that aspect. In regards to actor compensation, we believe we pay our actors competitively compared to our peers. Our rates for actors vary. Extras receive $18 an hour, and speaking role actors receive $33 to $44 an hour. We are proud to have given thousands of actors job opportunities, and last year alone, paid millions of dollars in actor compensation. Okay, so I only have one question for this post, and that's what competition? You're one of the biggest channels out there. You're posting videos almost every day and get millions of views off of those videos. I think you're doing just fine alone. You have no competition in sight. So why do you need to bring this up? And what peers are you talking about? I would like to know what those peers you're referring to. Actors by nature work for many different production companies. We offer project-based opportunities that vary from a few hours long to a few days. We do not offer full-time positions as we try to spread around opportunities and show a wide range of faces. Yeah, that's practically the nice way of saying we just fired a crew in the middle of the day filming. So you just expose yourself on that one. All details, including pay rate and length of the production, are specified in the offer letter, and the actor has the freedom to accept or decline the project. If accepted, actors are always paid shortly after a production wraps, typically within 72 hours. Okay, so now I'm quite mixed on this one. Because, like, if the actors knew how much they were getting paid for, then, yeah, that's kind of on them. But also, like, if more than one person is not happy with what they are given as of now, then, you might definitely want to fix that, or else, it's gonna get worse eventually. Yesterday, a group of protesters interfered with two productions that were taking place. We want to apologize to the crew members and actors affected by these protesters and for the stress it may have caused. Okay, so I'm also pretty mixed on this one because, on one hand, if Darman is not going to have a meeting with these protesters and is just going to avoid them over and over again, then he should have known that this is inevitable. But on the other, protesters interfering with two productions that were taking place, that is going a little bit too far, in my opinion. We thank you for all of your support and understanding. More information can be found in our stories. And by we, I mean me and Catherine Norland and a bunch of other people from our production. Because, there is still, like, one or two people that decide to stay loyal with Darman and defending them. One of them is Catherine Norland, and she has shared her side of the story. So, yeah, let's go over to her and hear her defense about Darman.
Probably going to get a lot of hate from the protesters or the fans who feel for them. And I do feel for them, but I can't be a party to the things that they're saying because that's just not true in my experience. So I cannot stay silent and watch this studio and this beautiful platform that has made a difference for so many people get thrown under the bus and have everyone assuming that we all feel that way. Because we don't. I don't. And many actors don't. I started within the first couple of months of Darman starting his channel and doing these videos. And I have been there 4.5 years. And as an actor who has been in more videos than any other actor, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying that because being there more has given me more experiences with the cast, with the crew, with Dar, with everybody, which also means I've had many more times to witness how they treat people.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. Because as she stated, she has the most experience working at Darman Studios, so she knows 100% everything about stuff that's, like, going down at the studio. But at the same time, you have Colin and Carlos, two of the OG Darman actors, protesting against Darman himself. And, like, you think with their works of experience, they would also side with Catherine and stuff like that. But no, they're outside of his studio wanting to have a conversation with him.
And 99% of my experiences on set have been positive ones. I have never had them not pay me. I have never had them not listen to my concerns about safety. They have never not paid me, but if there was ever some kind of an error in the paycheck for whatever reason, I would email and it only happened like once or twice, but they would immediately rectify it.
Okay, so basically what she's saying is that everything that I stated in the past 3 segments, yeah, that didn't happen. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Okay, so in order to not waste any more time, I'm just going to recap what she's saying. Basically, what she's saying is that, how Darman Studios is giving them job opportunities and how these life lesson stories are actually pretty inspiring to a lot of people and not just 7-year-old infants. And also how, even though she does understand the reasons about the protesters against Darman, she can't really be on their side because, once again, that's not true according to her sources. Okay, so after all of this, which side am I on? Well, I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm definitely leaning towards the side of the protesters against Darman because of, like, everything that I just stated in the past 3 segments. But I'm not, like, 100% on board as they are. And in order to, fully convince me or give me, like, a definite answer, I need to go to Darman Studios themselves and just see how work is like there. That way, that will convince me to see which side is objectively the correct one. But as of now, protesters of Darman, I'm on your side. Well, that is going to be the end of our Darman drama video analysis. And until further updates or notice, I will see you all next time. Bye!
Oh yeah, guys, so, that, I guess, I'm sorry this video ended up being longer than I thought, this video would be. Go down below, go down to, hit on this button down below, it says subscribe, and it should not say subscribe, it should say subscribed. Also, while you're down there, tap on the bell notifications, and down there hit on the like and notification bell. But until next time, I will talk to you guys on the next video. Hopefully it's not about any more Darman drama. Hopefully it's back to my normal content. Peace. Bye.